Hi guys, thank you for tuning in to Life with Uncle with Jay. Some of you guys already know that I started doing this YouTube and for other reasons. The first video was is being gay as choice and that had a lot of views, and then the second video was about me. That also had a lot of views, and honestly at the end of it guys, I got some great feedbacks and some people shared their testimony, and I just want to say thank you to all of you guys that genuinely shared and genuinely tune in. So first thing first, what up to everyone? If I didn't get to your questions the last time, genuinely, I will try to get to it now. Today, guys, is a part two of what I left off at. Some people had asked me, what else that I was facing that I didn't want to say on the first video. And one of the things I told you guys in the first video, I couldn't say unless I have a lawyer next to me, because of legal reasons. But there's other challenges that I'm facing. And then I got another question: how did I overcome the death of my mother? And that's the today topic is where I left off at. And I told you guys the last time I left off at was that I left home because of certain reasons, right? I left home because of the abuse. I left home because of just everything that was going on in my life with the person that my mom was dating, right? As we all call him a sperm donor to my brothers and sisters. Um, so where I left off is that basically I said that being at home, I was different from a lot of people, right? I was basically blamed for a lot of things that I didn't know why I was being blamed for, but I was basically being blamed. Um, like I told you guys before, I wasn't allowed to eat at the dinner table. I wasn't allowed to do anything, right? When my brothers and sisters got to go to the room, I had to stay up to clean. I basically had to do everything, right? Or him even talking down on me that I would be no one, that you know, I'm gonna be in jail and all this lost in the streets and all this other X, Y, and Z. And that was fine. Like I said, I just couldn't do it anymore, so I left home. Of course, like no any other relationships, the it didn't last. Him and my mom, of course, got a separation, and I got blamed for that too. I got blamed for the separation of them. I got blamed because um everything basically, right? All I was told, all I had to do was listen. um but I wasn't going to continue being hit by a person that wasn't even my father, or a person that I thought that was there since I was two. And some of you guys are like, oh well, technically he was your father. No, he didn't give birth to me, and he doesn't even deserve the title as a father. So we leave that to another day. But overcome it all, I, left. And when the separation between him and my mom was finalized, of course, shit started going here, right? She was depressed. She didn't want to eat. She didn't want to do anything. And it took a toll on my brothers and sisters. Yes, he is a sick ass. I agree. Sorry, I have a questions coming up. And, it took a toll, right? She was depressed. She didn't want to eat. She didn't want to do anything. And as the oldest, I was like, F it, I have to come back home, right? So I ended up coming back home. And like I told you guys in the first video, I was genuinely, we was all in the system. And having child services come to your door every single day was annoying. It was annoying. It was annoying. And I just couldn't do it. Like I just couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with it. And some of you guys are saying, "Oh, how old were you?" I was not in my teens. I was probably maybe 14, 15, struggling through all this. And him being the father that he was, or the sperm donor that he is, of course he made my mother look like the shit that he said that she was. And try to take my mother to court. Finally, yeah, he did. And the system in general, guys, is rigged. Is a rigged system. NYPD, court system, everything is just bullshit. Excuse my language. But they only care about who could provide. If you have money, if you have a shelter over you, that's who they will give your kids to, right? After me testifying and telling the judge of everything that I went through with him, um, my mom won the case, right? She won, she got to keep us, kudos. But it was more case, case she had to still keep going to court, still going to court, still going to court, still going to court. And at that time, like I told you guys, I was a dropout. I was a full-time dropout. I catered to, being at home, and I had to step up to be that father figure to my brothers and sisters. I took them to school. Any problems there was, you know, I was there. The teacher wasn't calling him. The teacher wasn't calling my mom. The teacher was calling me. I was only 15, 16 going through this time, right? Or maybe a little younger. But like I said, he was just not the person that um he did don't deserve the title as a father. And when he gave my mother the ultimatum of me, meaning him, or me, and the choice that she picked, can I blame the choice that she picked? I can't blame her decisions. And he said he wasn't going to raise any faggot. And if I stay, he goes. Cool, cool. I decided to leave. That's when I decided to leave fully. But a decision, when you give a person a decision to pick over a man, or to be with you, is not right. It is not right. But of course, some females, they feel the need to take their men. They feel to that they have to listen to their man. Yes, he at some point was a provider, granted, but you do not give anyone an ultimatum to choose their kids, you or their kids. And you didn't ruin just my life, you ruined other people's life. And this is what you do. This is what you love to do. You love to manipulate people. You love to be that enabler and make people think that you're this perfect person, and you're really not this perfect person. And to backtrack, guys, I didn't make any of these videos so anyone to feel sorry. I made these videos because a lot of people have questions, and I'm here to answer those questions. But like I said, of course, he finally left, whatever. My mom won the case of my brothers and sisters. We got to stay with her. But then it started becoming an issue. My sister and brother wasn't going to school, or, they was getting into problems. And of course, child service came to the house. And at that time, guys, I was tired. I was tired. I was tired of being tired. I was tired. And I looked at my mom and I said, I think we should give up. I think we should lose, and I think we should give up. And she cried and I cried. But I said, I think it's time for him to have them. I think it's time for let the judges decide, and let the judge decide who's a better parent. And deep inside, guys, the judge decided he was a better fit. And in all reality, he wasn't. He wasn't a better fit. He wasn't at all. He wasn't. But I couldn't fight anymore. I couldn't go to court anymore and stand there in front of the judge and tell the judge I can do it. My mother didn't have a lawyer. At some point she was her lawyer, and a lot of people know my mom. If you're on here on Facebook and Instagram, you guys know my mother. And no matter what, she fought and fought, but I couldn't fight anymore. So I had to do what a kid has to do, and I couldn't do it. One morning I get a knock on the door, and a child services with four cops. And who decided to walk in with a smile on his face thinking he won. Yeah. So yeah, they decided to take my sister away. But to see child service take them away hurted me, and it hurted my mother as well. And she went into a deeper, deeper depression where she didn't want to eat, didn't want to do anything, because this man that we all walked around here to call a father, you don't deserve that title. But it's just genuine hard. And I did what I could do. She did her depression, whatever. And my mother, honestly, guys, suffer from kidney failures. and was on dialysis. And I feel like any radiation, whether cancer or anything, that kills you more. And she was hurting, she was suffering, and would cry every night and say, "It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault." I took the heat. Yeah, it's my fault as the oldest. It was the worst decision of my life to hear that from your mom, to say this is your fault. This is all because of you. It is. It was your fault to have me. You should have abandoned me, is what I say. I didn't have a relationship with my mom. I really didn't. Some of you guys are like, "Oh, I'm a mama's boy." Yes, but I didn't have a relationship with my mom. The only time I had a relationship with my mother, and didn't bring the bottle on live, is when Obama was running for president in his first term. And, she was like, all of a sudden, she just got up one day and said, "Let's go shopping." Okay. And as we shopping in the Bronx, she said, "Let's go to the liquor store." I said, "Okay." I didn't think of it. But she said, "We're gonna celebrate." And I said, "Mom, for what?" For what? What are we celebrating for? It's not my birthday, it's not yours, so what are we celebrating for? And she said, "We're about to have our first black president ever, so why not celebrate?" And right then and then, guys, I had that connection that I always wanted with my mom. Right? Yeah, we drank, we laughed, he got inaugurated, and it was fun. It was fun. January it was fun. We had that moment, and I feel like we had that bond. And honestly, the reason why I capped that bottle was from memories of the laughter and fun that we had, right? Everyone knew my mother as this person that was just genuinely happy. And everyone always just asked her, "Why does your son walk around here in the Bronx thinking he owns the Bronx? So why do he walks around thinking he knows everything?" When we was outside together, me and my mother, no one ever talked to my mother because of my attitude, they said. Or they said I was the shit. Kudos. I think I wasn't. I was more of a god, and I have that god up. You guys don't see it, but there's a god and there's a shield in front of me that I don't let anyone come in. And I think that's what ruins a majority of my relationships and majority of my friendship. But that's a different topic. But we celebrated, and I genuinely kept that bottle, like I said, for memories and for happiness, right? But I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something wrong that no one was telling me. Um, my mom was getting sicker and sicker and didn't want to tell me, right? She was just going to the doctors like nothing, and like nothing, and didn't want to tell me nothing, right? Didn't want to tell me anything. Through my whole life, everything was kept a secret from me. And one day, I woke up, and where we lived at, we had two bathrooms. I woke up one morning and I found my mother laying there on the floor, life gone. She was yellow. And at that time, I was still with the NYPD. And of course, when we call, they always come quick, right? Because we do have calls. And they told me if I didn't find her when I found her, she would have been dead. Do you know what that is to wake up, to find your mother laying on the floor in the bathroom, yellow, flame coming out of her mouth, and not knowing what to do? When you're on the call with 911 and they're telling you to hold down her tongue for she don't swallow her tongue, or make sure we don't cuddle her, give her air. But thanks to the AMT, they revived her. She came back to life, and of course, they took her to the hospital. This is all happening January, February, right? And a lot of people know me. I don't like holidays. One of my mother wishes was on Thanksgiving that if she were to ever pass, she would want to be with the family. And that wish did not happen, of course. Thanksgiving was one of her favorites. Christmas was one of her favorites. And she always told me, and I'm laughing because as tears are coming down, my sister says the same thing. She said, Joshua, when are you ever going to give me a kid before I'm gone? Because I'm not going to be able to see you when you hit 21. And I always used to tell her, Mom, sorry guys. I was like, Mom, you're going to make it. You're going to see me. And when I'm going to have kids, I don't know. But I promise to give you one. And that promise didn't happen. One morning, this is the time that I had a BlackBerry, and my mom was still in the hospital. She, had surgery. They gave her removed one of her veins, and they connected to whatever. Anyway, and she was still in the hospital for a good 2 months, and I was doing me in the Bronx, and she would call me every day and to make sure I'm good, and what to see her. But I genuinely didn't like hospitals. Like everyone knows me, I didn't like hospitals. But I went one day to see her because I was getting a haircut. After I got a haircut, my BlackBerry dropped. That day was just ugh. So I was like, Mom, I need money to fix my BlackBerry. She said, come and get money to fix your phone. So I went. We're laughing, she's doing good, she's looking good. She's good, she looks good. And I said, all right, Mom, I have to go get ready because I have to go, I'm going out, This is when I had my first boyfriend. And I was like, all right, Mom, I have to go. I have to go get ready. She says, okay, cool. I get to the door of the hospital, her room. And before I could go any further, she says, Joshua, I love you. And honestly, guys, I froze because I thought I would never hear those words. But I genuinely heard them. And honestly, it stuck with me. And I went to went on and I said, I love you too. Went to the movie theaters and I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel, I didn't just feel, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. And he asked me what was wrong. And I couldn't. So I called, she didn't answer. I called the hospital. They told me she was asleep. My mother doesn't sleep that long. So I called again. And they said she can't come to the phone right now, but she's being rushed to the ICU. Okay. What happened? We can't talk now, but if you would wish to come to the hospital. Guys, I didn't go. I didn't go to the hospital. It took me a while to go. When I finally took the courage to go, I walked into the ICU and my mother was laying there on a ventilator. The machine was breathing for her. And here comes the doctors with papers. What is this for? They told me she has fluid in her back and they need to do surgery before it gets worse and they need me to sign. Guys, I, the oldest, had a lot of decisions to make. And I told the doctor, for what if she's on life, if she's breathing on a ventilator, she's dead anyway. They looked at me and said, no, she's going to be okay. I said, cool. But they tell me she doesn't know her name. She, and she might not remember you if she wakes up. I leave and I text my aunt and I tell her, Mommy is dead. I get a reply back, she's not. Later that night, I'm sitting in where I'm at right now. And I think God hung up the phone because I missed the phone call. It just rung once. And they call my aunt and they tell my aunt rush to the hospital because her heart stops. So, she was battling this disease and this dialysis and kidney failure, and it was a lot. It was a lot. There were times where I would have to carry her up the stairs because she couldn't be able to walk. It was a lot. And I stopped right there when on that call because I need to backtrack. But it took a toll on her. Where there was times where we went 2 weeks without eating. There was times where there was no food in the house. There was times where we was eating pancake mix because there was nothing there. She couldn't she couldn't, you know, cook, or she couldn't have provided, right? And me being so spoiled, everything so handed to me, I didn't have the courage to get a job. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I just didn't want to leave her alone, right? And I think I took that for granted. Um, and it was hard. But to go back to that phone call, to come to the hospital because her heart stopped. We on the road. We on the road, about to turn into the hospital, and we get another call to say that she didn't make it. Honestly, as my aunt was driving, I wanted to open that car and end my life. I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to do anything anymore. And I went and I they was like, that's her oldest son. And honestly, one of the doctors didn't want to tell me. Another took it and said that, they tried everything they could do and they couldn't revive her again. And I couldn't say goodbye. I didn't want to believe it. It was too real. It was too real to believe that I lost my mother. You know what I was doing when I hit 20? Burying my mom. Burying my mother. And, you know, it was hard because when the sperm donor took my brothers and sisters away, there was no contact for me to tell them that they lost their mother. Until 2 years later or 3 years later, when he came back and thought everything was cute. But at 20 and burying my mother to make a life decision was very hard. When they was like, only you can make the decisions. Only you, only you. And at that time, guys, I didn't care. I didn't want to hear anything. Whatever decision it was come to mind, I say yes. I didn't care. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, how did I overcome it? I'm so strong and I am always smiling. But, when she did pass, I would call her phone and say, hey, mom, I'll talk to her voicemail. And I would say she was on vacation. And guys, honestly, I attempt to kill myself before twice. It failed. It didn't succeed. And it was hard. It was hard because of all the pain and suffering that I put my mother through. I only had one responsibility to do, and it was to just listen. And I honestly, genuinely, and to this day, and to this very moment, her anniversary is coming up on March 11th. I blame her death on me. I wish I could have done more. And I know I could have done more. But honestly, seeing her go to work every day when she was able to when I was growing up,
all the suffering where we couldn't have food to eat and nowhere to go and eating pancake mix or, you know, it's just hard. And at it's just hearing her last words stuck with me and letting her know that she loves me, guys. And I always tell everyone, if you have your mom or whoever you have, cherish the moment. Cherish that moment with them. Write a letter to whoever you're hurting and burn the letter. Burn it. And that's how you overcome it. How I overcome it? Everything I do in my mother's favor. I just honestly wish that I was a better kid growing up. And I know I gave her hell. And I know I was the evil kid. And I was locked up so many times from fighting my stepfather, from fighting my mom, even in adulthood, from scamming, for getting locked up. Guys, I was lost. And I didn't know what to do. And with the grace, I did have an aunt that loved me and she pushed me. And I was able to do a lot. I was able to work. I was able to, my first job was to be a counselor for child services. And I wanted to go in that field because the fact that my brothers and sisters went through what they went through, I knew other kids was facing what we was facing. And I couldn't let other kids do it anymore. But I wanted to expand because I love the fashion, so I got into retail and that's where I'm at now. But no matter what I did, she always told me that, she loved me and just never give up. So if you guys do know me, I have a tattoo right under her, and the tattoo is faith. It's because she always said, "Have faith, always continue, and not give up." But I just wish that I have given up. And when I blow out my candles for my birthday, I wish upon a star that she will come back, and I know she will come back. And if I could give my only life to have her back, I would. But I genuinely wish that I have that moment that a lot of you guys have with your parents. And, you know, I didn't have that. I didn't have a childhood like I have now. And I love to do certain things that I wish I did as a kid. And I didn't do it then, but I'm doing it now. And I'm very successful. I have a job, a full time manager. And I do have staffs and friends at work that do, I think, genuinely cares. But one of the topics that did this is because I always ask how I overcome it, and I tell you guys, write it down. Forgive, forgive, forgive. No matter what that person have done to you, forgive and let it go. Because there are times where I wish and I pray, and recently, one of the wishes or a prayer that I pray was for God to close my eyes and not let me wake up. And because of that, I just wish he'd done it. And everyone says, Joshua, you have a whole life ahead of you. Joshua, you have so much going for you. But do I? Do I? Do I really have a whole life ahead of me? I'm 30 and I'm just starting my life. I don't have a whole life ahead of me. I didn't see my brothers and sisters grow up. I don't know what it is to have a birthday because next month is going to be hard, and a lot of people always say, "Joshua, you're bipolar." I'm not bipolar, guys. I genuinely sometimes wants to be alone, or not really alone, but I just want to be home or just be loved because I didn't have that. And, just because of a man, and I blame him. I think he's the reason why my mother went into this stretch hole and got sicker. But I I'm better, and I'm going to be better, and I'm going to strive to be better. Sorry for the tears. I genuinely, some of you guys know that I don't cry or like to cry in front of people, but genuinely talking about this topic honestly was hurting me to talk about it. And I did it because I want all of you out there to know, forgive, but don't forget. Remember the memories. Pause everything else. And I actually have that tatted on me. Is to pause everything that we went through in our life and to rewind back and remember the happiness. Remember everything that no matter what we all go through, we all facing it now. We're all facing hunger. We all facing suicide is real. Suicide is real. And just because I don't tell you guys, but that's in my mind. And I wouldn't care if I don't be here tomorrow. I don't care. But just genuinely cherish the moment and love those that are around you. And any pain and suffering you're going through, guys, question I was asked how to overcome it. Write it down. Write it down. Don't give it to the person. Burn it. Burn it. And move on. That's how you move forward. That's how you forgive. But just don't forget what that person have done to you, what that person have an impact. And this person that we all sit here and call a father, Google the definition of a father is not you. And I want to say I don't forgive you after I just told you guys to forgive, but I can't forgive you because you took my mother. You forced a lot and you have done a lot. But genuinely deep inside, I forgive everyone else. I just want you guys to know, and I'm gonna end this here, is I just don't know. I don't know. But this is of me. This is me. The name speaks for itself. A lot of people always say, why am I sheltered? Why don't I let people in? Why don't I let people love me? Because I was left. I was left, and I don't know what love is. If you call love witnessing your father hit your mother, that's love. Or love is witnessing your stepfather tell your mother, he gotta go, or I'm gonna go because I ain't gonna raise no faggot. Is it love to not let me eat at the dinner table with a family? That's love? Then I don't want it. But I know we all on this live and on YouTube, those that are watching, are hurting. Write everything down, and I want you guys to burn it. Burn it and don't look back. Thanks for everyone to tune in with Life Uncut with Jay. There will be another video coming up soon, and this video will not be about me. Sorry for tearing, but I thank everyone that took their time to sit here and hear me out. and how I overcame my challenges and how I overcame losing my mother. Like I said, is her anniversary is about to come up in March, and that is going to be a battle for me. But I face it every day, and I look up to my right, and her face is right there. And there is more to it, and I don't want to take up every time, but like for me, from drinking and what got me into drinking, right? Sneak peek onto that's going to come up next. Why I drink because drinking to me hides my pain. Drinking to me makes me happy. But I'm gonna leave that there. That's going to be the next topic. Thank you for tuning in with Life Uncut with Jay. Love ya. Stay humble. Stay blessed. Thank you.